Hello, humans.
Oh,
Hi, humans.
Let's start over.
we're recording right now? Okay.
Oh, well, we're doing it right now.
Hello, humans.
Hi again.
Welcome to Fermented Fiction. Thank you for tuning into another week of this ridiculous and stupid show. We're here to talk about genre fiction. We're here to drink some beer. And by we, I mean me. I mean Colin. I mean Jeremy. And usually I would mean my brother Travis, but he's a piece of shit. And he ain't here today. Jeremy, why isn't Travis here?
Last I heard, he was slapboxing dolphins at SeaWorld.
I think there was a Tumblr on that.
I heard something about
Pretty
this.
sure.
Do you have any idea why
I don't know.
he felt the need to slapbox these dolphins? Jeremy Hudson on why Travis has to slapbox dolphins at SeaWorld.
Well, the best I could gather, he doesn't like how dolphins will...
Excellent.
Oh,
Is this am I considered complicit if I have this book?
I mean, you definitely inspired this savagery. But fellas, best I could tell, he didn't like that dolphins in the wild will actually rape things to pieces, like until they're just obliterate them.
So he felt the need to battle them
Yeah,
in pitch comment. Okay. Good
I mean,
job, Travis. I take back what I said. You're not such a piece of shit after all.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, that's fair.
All right, we all agree. Travis not a piece of shit. Dolphins, pieces of shit.
Kind of jerks.
So long. Thanks for all the fish. We're moving on.
Boom.
All right. Today we have a great show for you, like we always do. Subbing in for Travis is going to be our boy Jeremy over here.
It's
Or-
your boy.
The force enrollment section, epically unzipping that beautiful leather jacket to reveal his Christmas present from me, the best flavor of Lay's ever created.
You don't know that for sure?
Well, we haven't seen them all, but to date,
Well,
I
if
think we
Lay's
can all
sponsors
agree.
us, we'll all eat biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. I will put
Absolutely.
so many of these gross chips into my mouth, Lays.
I'll tell you what, Lay.
Let's
if you
do this
sponsor
thing.
us, you can go ahead and pull whatever backstock bags of those discontinued chips out of whatever warehouse they're living in, and we'll eat them
You can
on this show.
fill my apartment with those some bitches.
Totally. Get them out your warehouse. We'll take them in the storage unit. All you gotta do is sponsor us.
Tag Lay's in the comments.
I'm not
Hashtag
proud.
Lays. At Lays on Twitter. Let's go. All right.
Yeah, let's ferment some fiction.
But
Lay's
until then,
sponsorship.
we have actual sponsors.
Oh, we do.
Those sponsors are Special Brews and Cascade Writers in Washington. Thank you very much,
Cascade Writers.
for being awesome. Thank you, Special Brews, for giving us free beer every month and for recommending awesome beers to us so that we don't have to just drink blindly in the dark.
That
So
is
what's our
pretty-
topic for today,
dope.
Clay?
Topic for today is going to be Ethan Hawke's latest film. Oh, God!
Oh,
I've ruined the segment.
jeez.
Oh God, brought to you by Ethan
The
Hawke.
humanity.
Ethan Hawke's latest horror film, Black Phone.
Shout out to Snow Isle Libraries for
Shout out to Snow Isle Library for
My
just
DVD
generally
collection.
being awesome.
So good.
Thank you, Snow Isle, for just general awesomeness. Thank you for giving Colin Black Phone because he doesn't have Amazon Prime like the rest of the world. Now,
That's
I'm
good.
just gonna put it up there. You can't really see it anyway.
That's fine.
They don't give a shit. Colin's like, I give a shit.
I want to jump
ahead,
up
Colin.
and
Go
adjust
ahead.
that so hard.
Colin,
Yeah.
go ahead. The show's not in any kind of hurry.
Yeah.
Well, what's your life update?
Yeah, we can update lives.
Yeah, I got my life update for this week. As many of you know, I've gone full-time writer. I was announcing that I was going to do that last time. I've now officially done it.
Is that officially happened?
It has officially happened.
Oh
I've
my
quit the
God.
day job. I've severed the ties.
That's why he didn't drive the grabber van today.
That's right. The
Didn't
grabber
think
van.
about it.
The grabber van no longer belongs to me.
Yeah.
Someone else is out there grabbing with it now.
Some well-deserving
And that's
grabber.
probably for the best.
Yeah. The best.
I'm not a grabber. I don't grab anybody.
That's why he
I-
couldn't keep the van.
That's why I couldn't keep the van.
Yeah.
So we've moved on. We've moved on from any day jobs. I'm not going back. I'm just going to write from here on out. And that's why I now have 2 entire novellas rough drafted, because you can do that when you write 40 hours a week. Jeremy, what's your life update?
Life update. Well, viewers of the show will probably not know that at time of recording, I am just almost 3 hours from turning 31.
Whoa!
Yeah. So that's pretty fun.
Jeremy turns 31 at midnight.
Yeah.
Heyo.
That's like a life update, but where nobody cares.
Hey, cheers to Jeremy.
Yeah,
cheers
cheers
Jeremy.
to-
Happy birthday.
Cheers, everyone.
empty
Do a
glass.
little empty glass cheers over here. We're proud of you, buddy. Good
Yeah.
job. 31 trips around the sun.
We didn't think I would make it, but I did. Take that. Hey, well, I mean, I haven't yet. There's still time.
There's still time.
So if this comes out posthumously, I jinxed it.
Yeah, good thing you didn't eat the lamb.
Yeah.
It was Colin's master plan. One little section of the lamb.
He's got some strong money
Jeremy.
on me not finishing this lap.
He does. Anything
That'll
to
teach
weigh
you.
in on there,
Yeah.
Colin? You got anything?
That's
to say?
a pretty
I mean, we can take bets on how long we think Jeremy's gonna live.
that's a pretty
Post it in the comments.
Yeah, post it in the comments.
that is a pretty conspicuous lack of denial there.
Yeah, I'd like you to post a how long Jeremy will live if we get sponsored by Lay's versus how long he will live if we do not. Because if we do, he's going to have to eat an ungodly amount of those southern biscuits and gravy Lay's.
Yeah,
those delicious,
they may finish me
delicious
off.
treats. I think they will.
They could.
I don't think any body is meant to handle those. And I don't think anyone has the restraint to not just eat bag after bag after bag.
I don't at the moment.
God.
Put bags of those in front of me. They're not all making it out of this.
All right, good. I'm glad we got that settled.
Oh yeah.
So, today we're going to talk about Black Phone, and we're going to start doing that by playing our usual debate game that we call Forced Enrollment. So we got 2 dice. Jeremy,
A
you
little
want to
2
describe
dice.
why we're rolling these dice?
Okay.
One
so
dice
we're doing-
tray.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
That's how many.
So it's so good, right? We're gonna roll these dice. We're gonna talk about the thing. If you roll high, you get to be nice. If you roll low, you get to be mean. And when I say get to, I mean have to. And we're doing it
Boom.
for 10 minutes.
That's right.
So good.
Colin's going to have to be the timer this time.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just thinking.
Jeremy's usual role has been usurped.
Yeah. I'm delegating now. Because I'm moving up in this world.
Boom. You're Travis now. This
Yeah.
is how it feels to be Travis.
Am I setting the timer for 9 minutes or 11 minutes? You don't know.
Do what you feel,
Boom.
you know?
We don't even know.
Whoa.
We won't really care.
That's the power. That's the responsibility in your hands right now.
That's right. Let's roll these dice.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we need a dice cam.
Oh,
This has never happened.
wait.
You guys actually
On
get to
this
see
show.
This is pretty
Um,
wild. Okay,
I'm
Jeremy's
just gonna,
taking a
like-
picture. Okay, this is wild, y'all. I rolled a 19. Jeremy rolled a nat 20. That's insane.
Also, when you rolled, it
like,
bounced off of the 19. You roll, it bounced off
Yeah,
the 19.
absolutely wrecked.
It's like
you.
it pulled its power.
Yeah, best roll possible and second best roll possible. So nice.
Listen, multiple times we've rolled 3s, we've rolled 5s.
Yeah,
That's
just last game I rolled a solid 8, and now I thought I had it. Thought I had it in the bag. I didn't.
Whoa, that's 2
Yeah.
losses for the
your
CV.
bag.
Who's really taking on Travis's role? I guess I am.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Colin, let us know when we're on because we are ready to do this thing.
3, 2.
All right. So, what can I really say at this point about Black Phone? It's it's a solid movie, well told. It's got a pretty inventive sort of premise to it. I don't think I've seen done a lot where you have the whole where the escape seems to be the main focus of the thing, and that actually becomes of something, you know? I've seen plenty of movies and plenty of shows where somebody spends the whole story just trying to escape, and then they just don't, and by the end, they just end up getting rescued. Whereas here, they actually pull off the escape, and then they have the protagonist trying different things, not just trying one thing and be like, well, guess I'm done. I tried the one thing, and that's it. That's all the things I got. And yeah, and you know, Ethan Hawke, you know, turns out, I think he's just pretty good. You know, he shows up in plenty of things, and every time he shows up in a thing, I'm like, well, he's doing pretty good. Just pretty good. I should stop being surprised at this point, because he's just sort of doing that every time I see him. Solid performances throughout. Really decent pacing, you know, building a good sense of sort of dread throughout the whole thing. I would levy the criticism that it's not super scary, but I don't think it's trying to, like, make you leap out of your skin. Because I think there was, like, a single jump scare the entire movie. But yeah, no, it was a solid time for me to watch at a Starbucks before recording this. And that's pretty good. That's what I got. That's an opening there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 2 primary beefs with Black Phone. My first beef is I'm just kind of over, like, serial killers in general. They're basically like the next zombies to me. I don't really... I like to see paranormal or supernatural things as the focal point of my horror stories. That's just my personal preference. Now, while that is obviously a crucial element to the story, I don't know, the antagonist was still a serial killer, and in a lot of ways that sort of bored me about the movie. And that, combined with my second beef, kind of like coagulate into a third beef. So my second main beef that helps coagulate is that you don't take the best performer in your movie and just, like, take away his ability to act. Not just, like, make it so he doesn't have to act. That would be something you would do if you cast, say, Nicolas Cage. But they did not. They cast Ethan Hawke, who is a legend of an actor, and they put a mask on his face so that he just can't even have the ability to really fully act throughout the entire movie. And that was a big issue to me. I felt like I was missing, like, because I can see it in his eyes that he's doing some real acting, but because his entire face is covered, and sometimes even his eyes are covered, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not getting what I should be getting out of this stellar performance that I know Ethan Hawke is delivering right now.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree. I feel like, you know, covering his face really made him, like, have to step up and, you know, emphasize more of the physicality and more of the vocal aspects of his performance. Because you have to admit, you come up the stairs and see him sitting there, just man-spreading, shirtless with a belt. That's a whole mood. Like, oh,
mood.
That's exactly how I felt when I was like, oh my god. That's part of the movie that made me question, like, wait, is he a child molester or is he just a serial killer? Like, what's going on here? He commands a presence in the film every time he's on screen, which is good. You want that in your main antagonist, I feel.
You do, but is that the mask or is that the performance? Because the mask was, like, inherently creepy, right? And he literally, like, changes his mood with the mask. I just felt like it took a lot away from I felt like it would have been more powerful if Ethan Hawke was just being Ethan Hawke, personally.
I mean,
but that's why you cast an actor like Ethan Hawke, because he takes away the need for a frickin' mask. That you have to put a mask on, like, people who aren't as good as him, you know, like in The Strangers, for example. Like, those people didn't have to act at all, right? And I'm not saying they're bad actors. I'm sure they were great because they were in a big movie like that. But the performance of them was all body and stuff. Whereas Ethan Hawke, he still had enough face that I was looking for his performance,
Well,
but I just wasn't seeing it because the mask was like in the way to me.
I mean, a performance isn't just in the face, and
No,
sure,
no.
if they got a worse actor for it, then yeah, that's 100% like, oh, it would have been the mask, and we're like, oh, thank goodness the mask's mood changes every single time he's got like a different thing going on. You know, if a worse actor were doing that, I would just call it out, because otherwise it would feel dumb for him to have a mask that has different expressions on it. I mean, but no, I don't think the mask takes anything away from his performance. Yeah, he's just on that level.
I guess. To me, it seems like something you would use to like fix a problem. And I feel like in this movie that problem actually wasn't there. So it almost like created the problem to me in a weird way. If that makes any sense. But moving on, I have a coagulation that I was talking about.
Ooh, I love a coagulation.
And that is that this antagonist as a whole is a relatively, like, maybe the weakest point in the entire story. Like, we don't know anything about his motivation. We don't know anything about who he is. And I didn't really see any reason for anything he was doing. We have these like very brief conversations with him, these very brief glimpses of his life outside of murdering children, but like at the end of the day, he's just sort of there as like a big bad. And I thought that was kind of lame.
Right.
Biggest problem with the whole movie.
And, you know, I can agree with that to some extent. Like, they don't really ever explain what he does. I assume he has a job of some kind. If he owns 2 houses.
Yeah. Right.
But I feel like his whole deal is kind of secondary to what he means to, or what he represents to the main character, which is this sort of looming obstacle that needs to be overcome, or because he's in a position where like he can't avoid this problem. At a certain point, he's just gonna have to face him.
Yeah, but does he represent anything specific to you? Because he didn't to me. He just represented like a serial killer. He was just a serial killer. He didn't represent anything specific in this character's life aside from like he killed all these people that this character like looked up to or was afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, look, and he absolutely did that, but and they set it up earlier. Thank you. And they set it up earlier in the movie where he's like scared of all these bullies at school, doesn't really want to make a fuss, doesn't want to confront anybody, and then they put him in a situation where you have to confront your issues, and that was like the whole point of the thing. You have to sometimes get over yourself, be a little brave, and you know things will start working out better for you, and that's kind of the whole point of the thing.
But did he really confront anything, or did he just have all these dead people come tell him what to do?
I mean, the dead people more or less just told him what not to do, and I like, that every failed escape attempt went into helping him, you know, get out of this problem, to beat the main bad guy. Like the grate from the window and the hole that he just dug a hole. Glad that became useful. But yeah, no, I think it was very, very well put together in that way.
I felt the opposite way about it. I felt like it was a bunch of like, again, like this theme of coagulation keeps coming up to me. Like all these like half-baked ideas that seem like a good idea on paper, but when executed in the movie didn't necessarily pan all the way out. Like the mask, like all these different escape attempts that failed from other people, but for the main character came together to ultimately work out.
Well, because his
fell a little flat.
I mean, his solution to the problem wasn't like any of their solutions, which I think makes it work really well. That they're telling him, "Oh, I did this, and it didn't work because I ran out of time, because it was the wrong thing to do." Beer of the week! Beer of the week! Beer of the week!
Yeah. What is it? What pairs with Ethan Hawke's The Black Phone?
This is, I don't know about Ethan Hawke's The Black Phone. This is someone else's The Black Phone starring Ethan Hawke, but
This is Blumhouse's The Black
Blumhouse's
Phone.
I'm just reading the DVD.
creators of Sinister and other awesome horror movies. I went with Living House. About
Living House.
Living House.
House.
Harris
That's
West
Living
Coast
House.
IPA because that is kind of a theme in Black Phone. The spirits of the formerly murdered are kind of assisting the main character.
Living House.
So yeah, Living House situation going on.
Living House.
Put your glasses above all the technology so I can pour for you.
Just right up in the technology. Do the thing.
I think we need 1,000% more Jeremy Deutsch accent in the podcast.
Yeah, don't tempt me.
Ja. Ja, super gut.
Oh yeah.
In the discotheque.
Living House.
Yes, we have the living house. It's very thematically appropriate.
That was glorious.
Danke.
I just keeping.
Is your mom German or something?
So I can at least.
I mean, no more German than I am. I mean,
Jeremy's
by
just a mad
percentage.
genius.
Only 75%.
And I, in honor of Travis's, assumed role on this show, which is to drink crappy beer because he can't get the delicious beers that we get from Espresso.
He loves sours though, so everybody in the comments
yes, we all know how much I love sour.
ship
Fruit.
to his address
Sours,
all the fruities,
Sweet
all the sours,
beers.
all the sweets.
everything,
Sweet.
anything aromatic. Send it his way. He wants it. Yeah,
Or just
mail it
Colt
to him.
45.
Cash on delivery.
Absolutely. But in honor of him, I'm going to go ahead and drink a delicious
Hams.
hams. Because that's something Travis will drink.
Uh-huh.
I think he'll respect this. And if he won't, then him.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
So we're gonna enjoy this lovely.
I got a little sip.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Just that.
Just make
Yeah.
sure. Beer for life, it says.
Okay.
The Vermont Hammer. It's fruity.
Classic West Coast IPA.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm not
it's
getting
pretty mellow
super
for
hops.
IPAs.
It is very mellow in terms of hops, yeah.
It's hoppier than the Belgian
Well, yeah.
that we had last episode.
It would be,
It would be.
but yeah,
It's not too hoppy.
Actually, yeah.
Clear.
If you're going to drink an IPA, this is one that you could, start on.
Yeah, it's a
to
solid-
not get hot blasted right in the face.
Yeah, it's a solid gateway IPA.
Gateway IPA. Yeah,
Yeah, you settle in before somebody just brings the IPA hammer down on you.
that's right. Which is good, because a lot of people,
Apocalypse.
when they try their first IPA, you're not ready.
No,
I wasn't ready.
how
People
could you?
were all about it. I was like, yeah, give me one of them.
That's not a euphemism.
And then I didn't like it. It took a
wouldn't.
long time for me to drink an IPA and be like, this is a beer I will drink a second time.
Yeah, that's just
You learn
the
your
way
lesson.
IPAs are. It gives you that experience of when you tried your first beer and you're like, oh, this is actually just disgusting. Why does anybody drink it? But then, we all got to college and oh, beer. Yeah.
What was everyone's first beer here in this room? Mine was just a good old Bud Light.
I want to say it was
Mine must have been in
Keystone.
Germany.
Keystone, it would be. It would be. Dan?
Dan.
Was it Dan?
No, this was in college.
Your first beer was college?
First
In
college.
college, there was a lot of natty
first
light going
So
around.
University of Mary. With theater kids, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, they drink.
Boy, do they.
Boy, do they ever. That's how me and Jeremy met. Shots of vodka after practice.
It
Yep.
was so good.
That's great.
Yeah.
You said Natty Light at your college?
Yeah, a lot of natural light went around.
That's interesting.
Not good. That wasn't my first beer I ever tried,
Well, that's good.
but that
That would be
was definitely
unfortunate.
going.
You said you went to Germany for your first
Yeah.
time? Well, that's pretty rad.
It I vaguely
That is the-
recall. I mean, if you go to a Munich beer house, You know, they'll basically do Pilsner or a dark beer, Dunkel. Mm-hmm. So, I don't remember. I think I tried both, and I thought both were all right.
How old were you?
I think 16.
Yeah.
Legal age in Deutschland.
Yeah. You can drink beer because, frankly,
You can drink
it's adorable.
a whole liter of it.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
In fact, they have like beers to get your kids started out on that are basically like Coke and beer.
Right.
Comes in a big 2-liter.
Really? They mix with it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. It is literally Coke and beer is like a big thing. Coca-Cola and beer.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
It's gross.
That sounds disgusting.
It's gross.
Whatever.
I hated it.
I'm still in.
But then there was others. There was like, they would do Fanta and some beer. And so there were some combinations that were actually tasty for 16-year-olds.
That's interesting.
But me as a 16-year-old, the Coke and beer, even then, I couldn't do it.
You knew. Yeah. Yeah, my first drink of a beer was like a Bud Light on like a 4th of July when no one was paying attention.
Obviously.
Wasn't offered to me. Stole it.
Well, yeah.
Then I drank it, and like you said, I was like, I don't know why people drink this.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, which means it tastes bad.
At first.
Yeah.
How's the hams?
How them hams?
I mean, Hams is fine. Hams does the job. There is like kind of a line between
What would the grabber drink?
Hams. Without a doubt. No,
Whatever his brother leaves in the fridge.
What is that grabber?
Should we? Do you think that's a sponsorship?
What do you think they got?
I mean, I
Hams.
think
Is that
it used
Pro
to be.
or?
Sponsor us, Hams. Just you and Lay's.
Yes.
We can get real healthy together. You
Grabber
know,
van.
Sponsor us and we'll take back what we said about the grabber.
Sponsor us or else. What? There's no real better way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate a light beer that's been...
Are we still doing forced enrollment?
No.
That's what it sounds like.
No. I appreciate a light beer. I genuinely do feel this way. I appreciate a light beer that has a bit of flavor to it. I feel like that's a thing that maybe a lot of the main brand light, like if you put light after a beer that already has a name, you just mean we've taken the flavor out of it.
Yeah. Taking
And made
it
it a
clean
little
out.
cheaper for you. Hams and PBR both are beers that kind of retain a bit of flavor.
Yeah, I can respect
Despite
the
being easy to
PBR on a
drink.
hot
I mean,
day.
my go-to has always been the champagne of beers,
Miller High Life.
the Miller High Life.
You gotta
Gotta
love
live
that
that
High
Miller
Life.
High Life.
Yeah,
Yeah, ready to
It's
sponsor
my
CF
my
Miller?
cheap beer of choice.
I don't hate on it. We
Miller,
used to
let me
spray
know.
that around. We used to love to shake those up, spray them around.
Beautiful.
Our version of the NASCAR thing,
Play Edward 40 hands, where you duct tape 2 40s to both your hands.
I've been there.
That's what you want.
I actually did that with Steel Reserve.
You
Don't
would?
recommend. Terrible idea.
That was my friend's drunkest night
Did that
ever.
end in a fight for you? I feel like it would.
Actually, it did. I got my jaw
it.
nearly broken because I punched our 189 pounder in the face. So when you're a wrestler
Oh boy.
and you're a little guy, you do have an edge on a lot of people. But if you choose to fight a fellow wrestler who is much larger than you,
Outside your
don't have
weight
any edge.
class.
You have no edge whatsoever, except perhaps the element of surprise. But what they don't tell you about the element of surprise is there is a too much. Like, no matter how surprised someone might be, you still might not be able to knock them out. And I wasn't. And that's how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
You were in that play with me. Do you remember when I had, like, a sore jaw for, like, 2 weeks of the Dead Legend?
Oh yeah.
That's what happened.
That's where that.
I got
okay.
punched off a porch onto a lawn, and I woke up the next day. I don't even remember any of it. I only know this from being told.
Yeah, sometimes you just get told these stories about yourself.
Me in particular. I've
Yes.
been told far too many stories.
Yeah, you get told the story like, yeah, you fought a dude. Like, really? I fought him? Like, that's a generous way of putting it, but yes.
Well, you tried. You gave it your So yeah. What did you guys actually think about Black Phone?
Well, what do you think? Didn't you?
Whoa. He
It's
always
gotta be me.
Yeah.
the
Come on now.
classic jump the gun.
Loved it.
Clay.
There you go.
Don't we have segments? Do we not have segments?
Yeah, you have segments. What's your fun?
Yeah,
Colin?
forget you heard that.
Sorry.
I mean, we have segments.
Sorry
I was
about
too
it.
busy to take notes.
There is
Talking
an
about
order here.
stuff. I get excited, but I do love our segments. I do love our homies over here on the other side. Like Colin.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Black Phone.
We gotta be lawful neutral here. All right.
I'm not.
So you might not know.
Alignment, but what's your fun fact?
More of a chaos.
So the Black Phone was it's a adaptation of a story, short story by none other than what's his name?
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill.
Yeah, that guy.
AKA Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
And so it was a popular short story, but then the movie was so spectacularly popular, especially with sales of the grabber mask, that Hill
yeah.
pitched the idea of a sequel, and they're in development.
Interesting. That's almost certainly going to be bad. But maybe we'll talk about it on here.
We could.
There you go.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you for the fun
pretty
fact.
good. Yeah.
Jeremy, you have notes?
Absolutely not. I was preoccupied.
You had to debate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to figure your notes were in your debate, I imagine.
Yeah, because
Although watching it in the Starbucks was true.
yes, I did watch it in a Starbucks.
Recommend?
I mean, if Starbucks is cool with it, why not? You know, if you want,
They're cool with a lot of stuff.
If you want to put your noise canceling headphones on and try to drown out the jazz mix that they're playing over their speakers, if that's the environment for you, boy, do I have good news.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have any notes that didn't make it into your debate because of time constraints or ending up on the wrong side of the dice roll?
Well, let's see here.
Without getting into the what you actually feel segment necessarily, if you know what I mean.
Well, let's see. If I'd have, no, actually, I can't. I cannot.
Not without getting into the actual
Couldn't
feeling.
possibly.
No, it's totally impossible. Undoable.
Gotcha.
Truly.
All right, we'll just move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, let's just get to the round table discussion of Black Phone.
You gotta go first. We don't
since
know
I
what you
attacked,
think about it.
I will go first.
Yeah.
Love Black Phone? Maybe don't love. Liked strongly Black Phone. Pretty like Blumhouse plus Ethan Hawke. That combination has already made one of my favorite horror movies of all time, which is Sinister. So I was really looking forward to this movie. Been looking forward to it ever since I heard about it. I love when a studio produces something successful and then brings back all the key components of that successful thing and does a whole different story. I think that's a formula for success. And I think Black Phone was a success by and by. So I loved the use of, as you mentioned, Jeremy, I'm glad you brought this up, but I really did like all the ways that all the failed escape attempts kind of came around to produce a successful escape attempt, because I feel like that's the way that a lot of things in life actually work. And the character had to like use all the tools from the people who came before him and failed to be a successful example, you know, of how you could escape this this evil that the grabber represented. I do stand by what I said in my argument that the grabber as a antagonist is a bit shallow, a bit flat, but I think he does represent something bigger than just a human being, right? I think there's some holes in that, but you can't fill in every hole in a movie. You just don't have time, or in a short story for that matter. But I do think he just represents some darker side of humanity that we all have to battle against every day, and that is oppressive. And the kid was battling that in his baseball. He was battling it with his bullies in the bathroom. And then he's further battling it at home with his alcoholic father. And then he has to battle it in the penultimate battle against this, like, ultimate evil person, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that the movie was well done overall. I thought there was plenty that could be better, but overall, liked it.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I was kind of medium about the whole thing. It was okay. It was kind of, and then there were parts that seemed slow, and there were things that, like, they didn't really feel like they paid off. Like the stuff with the alcoholic dad, that just sort of went nowhere. That he was an abusive and then just, I guess, remained that afterwards. Cause
You think so?
I don't know. He had one nice conversation with his daughter where he was also drunk at the time.
True chains.
So,
True chains.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that ever got better. I guess one thing I didn't mention, I liked the grabber's brother. I was sad to see him go.
Hell of a guy. Hell of a guy.
What an absolute legend that guy.
I would love to live my life with that level of blissful ignorance.
Like, I knew he was up to something. I didn't know it was... Like, what
I
did he
didn't know
assume?
it was the entire purpose of my existence.
Like, what did he assume was going on in that basement that he was just never allowed to go into and see? And that was professionally soundproofed. Although I guess he wouldn't have known that it was professionally soundproofed.
Also, who doesn't go in a room in their own house?
Yeah. I mean, it's his brother's house. He says he doesn't live there.
But
he's just staying.
there,
He's staying there, yeah.
I don't know. I've been in houses where you don't go in the basement.
But also, I'm glad it paid off because there was a transition.
Because it's like dark and gross. Spiders.
It's weird.
So,
I mean, how do you get the spiders out if not by going in there? So.
nature.
Well, you just know.
put
You're like,
nature in there?
Nature's in there, bro.
The spiders
you
are
just
nature.
let nature take care of it.
The spiders are nature. That's them taking care of it.
They keep the other insects out.
But
But what else did you have to say?
Well, I'm glad that there was that whole thing where he was the grabber's brother, because there was this transition that made me think, like, wait, is he in that house? Are they in the same house together? Is he in that guy's basement? And it turns out, yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back on board. So that was a clever...
They did show
thing.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, they did the whole floor pan thing.
Yeah, I couldn't tell at first if, like, is that just an artistic thing, or is he just actually in the same house?
Yeah.
Turns out he's in the same house.
And I did still think for a moment, there was a very, very, very brief moment, like maybe not an entire second, where I was like, wait, is that guy? Grabber? But then I was like, no, Ethan Hawke. I don't know Ethan Hawke's in this movie, which means it's not a grabber. So, but yeah. Maybe if you didn't know who Ethan Hawke is,
Yeah, if you
that
didn't...
could have thrown you.
Yeah. If you're one of the 5 people who didn't start watching the movie going like, oh, Ethan Hawke's in this. Oh, that's pretty good. He's alright, yeah. He does some alright things. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, I'm sure it'll come up. But yeah, there was just little things that ended up not paying off. I'm glad everything in the, like, from when he got captured and some of the setup stuff actually went somewhere. I don't feel like his sister's premonitions and maybe being psychic really paid off for anything. Like, it wasn't really explored very much at all. You could almost have replaced that with her, like, doing some kind of investigation, maybe borrowing that cokehead's crime board that he put together. I don't know. But,
Take notes, Travis. That's how you do crime board.
yeah. Just in case, if you needed pointers on your crime board,
we need to see Travis's crime board.
Yeah, in case you haven't yet found the real killer from last episode.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it,
Yeah.
T-Money?
Where you at?
Where's that board?
Yeah, where
You gotta
that
see.
is, T-Pain.
I don't know. I disagree with the sister thing. I think that she was a pretty awesome character. Also, I would like to, I said this before the show, but I do want to make sure this is said. Child actors are way better
Oh, yeah.
these days.
100%
than they were,
Recognize
yeah.
that. Than they were in the 90s or even the early 2000s. They are awesome now.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow.
They're
That-
just actual actors now.
Dude, that scene with the dad where they're yelling and it's like, my dreams are just dreams. That scene, like, hurt my soul.
Oh, yeah.
That scene was like such a real portrayal of what like a toxic parent-child relationship looks like. Like, that was real.
Performances throughout were just
The
really good.
performances were awesome in this movie.
They're just
awesome.
top
All right,
tier.
this is the point where I come in
Call
and
it
say
you guys
everyone is wrong.
Okay.
Wow.
There were 1,000 plot holes,
I mean, yeah, it's a
Okay.
short...
and there were plenty of episodes of bad acting in the film and stuff that didn't make sense, and times when the film could have been better and then just ignored the obvious awesome twist that could have been right there.
Okay, give us examples of all those things.
Please
because
do.
You don't get to just
All right,
say those
fine.
things. Vague.
All right, settle in, everybody.
Okay, so
Gonna
first of all,
explain your balls
when it comes to child acting, I think
Give us a Neil
certain
Stephenson
scenes,
exposition.
I feel like I could see X-ray vision into this movie, where I was like, okay, this scene, the director really worked hard with this child actor and did a good job. This other scene, not at all. It's just not good, and I'm not sold on it.
Yes.
So the his best friend is like a kid who knows karate and beat up a bigger kid, and he looks like the scrawniest kid you've ever seen in your life, and has been smoking cigarettes, and that's the coolest rebellious thing he's done.
So-
and by and large doesn't eat anything. Like, he wouldn't even fulfill the featherweight class if he was a wrestler. He wouldn't even get to that base level. So, I mean, like, him beating up a bigger kid made no sense. And then later on, he tries to act and does not do well. Yeah, just not, what, and I wouldn't even blame the actor. I would just blame the director. Like, it just didn't work it out with him very well in the scene. The kids, I think the daughter killed it. I think the main two kids in the film did pretty good, actually. I think their acting was great, actually. Although I had to, like, warm up to them. And then the father figure, I felt like could be a bigger, I wanted him to be the grabber. I mean, I feel like he was the villain who he had no reason being so cruel as he was. And it was also this film like tackled child abuse, which is super difficult to tackle. And I'm surprised they even went for that and didn't like increase the age of the kids and whatnot. So that's like a really difficult topic, and I didn't like that at all. But then by the time the film was kind of 3/4 of the way through film, I felt like it was a little more comfortable with it. And so, like, there's no reason for the dad to be so cruel. I didn't understand that. And then he hates his daughter and says that she has some kind of power of premonition that her mother had, which, like, drove her to suicide. And it's like, I don't really understand why that was integral to the storyline, other than she's the one that the cops rely on in order to find the killer, which is like, do any of these cops have any idea what's going on in Denver? I mean, it's one thing if it was in that Idaho town where all those kids got murdered recently.
Cokehead brother was able to piece it together
Right?
faster
Well,
than
and then
the cops.
then that's the other thing too, is at the end, it's like there's the reveal that, oh, it all happened across the street. It's like, so wait a minute, the brothers own two houses that are both across the street from one another. And
Well, no, I
so
guess-
that surprised me,
Well, I guess
but
the
I'm not
director
sure
just owned
why
both
I was
houses.
surprised by that point. Because all the cops are in the wrong house. And then the sister goes to the right house and she runs out and they hug and it's nice, I suppose.
Hater. Drinking the haterade. No, I do agree with that. I do agree that
And then the grabber himself has no reason for anything, which is not hard to do in a horror movie, to have some sort of explanation as to why this grabber is someone who enjoys and wants to kidnap children and then torture them and then bury them and then continue that process.
Yeah,
Sure, but I will say
if there was
not always
some-
necessary.
Yeah, it's
not
not
always
always
necessary to dive into your antagonist.
It's always
of times-
necessary.
No, it's
A lot of times it can even serve as a detriment to the story. I think
absolutely.
with this one you could have maybe gone into like, you know, what he was maybe looking for in a kid that made him keep taking kids. Because he was clearly looking for something, and we just never find out what.
Because
Yeah.
he does have a demographic, right? All the kids he takes are like tough athletic kids.
They're nearby, they're seen as, yeah.
Because even the main
Athletic,
character,
tough.
who, in comparison to the other three kids that get taken that we develop any sort of relationship with, he was like, you know, a bit, I guess you would say, lesser in terms of like an alpha male spectrum to them. But he was still an athletic kid, like a good pitcher, and he was like he was like a smart,
Yeah, his
relatively.
arm was mint.
He was. Yeah. Yeah. He was on his way to being just like the first kid that got taken. You know, the kid that he was that was hitting
Yeah.
off him at the start. That kid, awesome actor, by the way. Awesome. Such a small role, but like his emotions when he was at bat and stuff, I thought that was great. I love that whole.
I forgot it completely. It did not stick with me. Unimportant.
Interesting. It stuck with me. I thought his performance was really, really great.
I remembered
Did you make the
I remembered the
sports
pinball kid. The pinball kid I thought was
There you
pretty
go.
fun.
Yeah, that
The rocker
kid was
dude.
a big archetype. I see.
Who looked
obviously.
way too old compared to the other kids.
Well, yeah, he was
He
like.
was held back a few
He looked
times,
like, yeah, he was
clearly.
like 17.
You know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of in the like Hive Mind season of
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Dude, I expected him to turn around and be the same dude, the same actor.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, it's not the same
30-year-old
actor?
dude That like might as well be
Literally
banging
the same.
moms.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Go bang some mums.
Go bang some moms, bud. You need to get off this stage and start banging moms. This is where you go. Oh God, I don't even remember where it was.
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter. This show's stupid.
We landed.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Fermented Fiction. We're here. We're talking about genre fiction for you. But
But yeah.
yeah, overall, I could see where you're coming from with some of that, for sure. I do think I have to disagree with you on the father thing. I think he had a nice redemption arc, personally.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah,
Really?
I think he's a lying. I think he's a lying. When at the very end, where he says he's gonna change, it was just another fucking lie, and
the
he's gonna
one-
beat the shit out of them the next day.
The one
think so?
time where
Yeah,
he was
absolutely.
nice
Absolutely.
to his daughter, he was hammered.
See, that actor killed it.
That's
that
true.
An father that beats his kids, like that actor did a great job at that. Because I hated him.
Yeah,
I hated everything about him.
Like
I
I,
hated
don't
him
know
for
if
most
it's
of it.
just like the vibe I got from him, but I feel like I've seen him in like the sort of deadbeat dad role before.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Whoa.
just because he did great at it or if he's just playing that role all the time.
I guarantee he is cast regularly as like some variety of piece of shit just because of his hairline. I mean, he looks like he like crawled out of a swamp.
Sure.
But
yeah,
I do.
Shawshank Redemption style.
I don't know. Really? You guys just both hated him all the way through? I mean, he was a
Yes.
piece of shit for 3/4 of the movie, for sure. But I thought when he, like, comes up to them in the ambulance and stuff at the very end, you don't see a little glimmer of hope for them in the
No.
future? You just think
Not
it's
at all.
gonna be...
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like this is why I didn't like the movie immediately, is because it starts with kids beating the shit out of each other, and then parents beating the shit out of their own kids, and then by and large parents just treating kids horribly.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of what.
And like it,
Well, I think that's the point.
we're at such a different lens nowadays, where it's like, no, you need to have all your kids need therapy and they need to be understood, even if they're a little bit dumb and they kind of deserve it.
And I mean, when you get a story
I'm not
from
sure where the crossover with those two ideas is,
like
but...
when you get stories from kids' perspectives, like the adults are just gonna be pieces of shit. There's no two ways about it. Because, I mean, especially with writers, creative types, and whatever, who had like really positive relationships with authority figures when they were kids, especially among creative types.
Hi, some.
Some.
I just.
What's your overall?
I definitely did not have bad parents.
Well, sure.
I don't look at my like home life that way at all.
Yeah.
Here's my focus is what does it do to the story? If your adult figures are bad to children, what does it do to help the story make it better?
Well, it challenges those children to overcome the faults of their authority figures and to make it better tomorrow.
But it also makes me as a viewer wonder, like, is it the best for him to, like, get out of this situation and just go home?
Here, I felt like the arc that was being created at the beginning was this brother and sister are going to a new home at the end of this. Their father is getting arrested by the police and taken away. And they are going to live with someone else and be actually given the proper treatment that they deserve. That's what I expected in the first half of the film to see in the second half.
Like, if it was
For
set
sure.
in the modern day, that's probably what would have ended up happening. But
Also, he had a job, and I don't know what that his job was. And I don't understand how he has one.
The grabber.
anybody
dad.
that wasn't a teacher or a cop.
Yeah.
The dad apparently has a job, but I don't understand how he could possibly have a job.
Well, he can do it drunk.
Yeah. Totally wasted.
You'd be surprised how many people are out there doing their job drunk every day.
Oh, yeah.
I worked in the beer industry for a little while. I can tell you, there's a lot of people out there being drunk all day long, but which is pretty crazy to actually think about. But regardless of that, here's the way I saw it. He comes out of this extremely bad situation with another toxic adult male figure. And I think through that transformation of his escape, he and his sister have a way to move forward in a relationship that is somewhat similar, but coming from a place of actual love. Now, every father loves their children. Every children tend to love their father, like, no matter how bad that relationship is.
Yeah.
That love is pretty hard to, like, separate. It's pretty much going to be there. I mean, that's why, like, a bad parental relationship messes with you so deeply and for such a on such a permanent basis, right? And I think that this relationship gives our protagonists the tools they need to repair the relationship that does matter to them.
I mean, that tool is basically just mutually assured destruction now that Finn is, tough enough to and gives little enough of a shit to step to his dad.
I don't think it's that simple.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of where their relationship gets better as the result of this experience.
Not the fact that they both almost lost each other.
No,
They
because
now
I mean,
realize that what they had actually matters. Because sometimes you don't realize what you have matters until you like get near close to dying.
yeah, but we never got that much evidence that the kids matter that much to the dad. Like, he never treats them well,
Right.
except for that one time.
I mean, I felt like
And he was drunk.
that character
Yeah,
would
I
have
disagree with
been.
that.
I would have been more interested and sympathetic to the father if he tried to work with his daughter. He sort of explained to her that he doesn't want her to become like her mother and commit suicide over her schizophrenia, for lack of a better term. But like, he just, I mean, he dealt with it in the way that a drunk sleazy dad does, and not slightly better in terms of like having some sort of turn for the better. Like, he sees, he beats the crap out of her when he finds out that the cops went to talk with him at his job, right? And then I felt like that didn't change for the rest of the movie. Whereas if he had maybe not beat the crap out of her and understood in some sense that she is good at something,
That scene
and
is the last
deserving
time-
of it.
That scene is the
That
last
would be
time
better.
he hits her in the entire movie.
Right.
Yeah, but he
So
still
it
treats her
does
like
change.
shit.
He doesn't like.
I don't think he does. For
doesn't.
the rest of the movie, he becomes much more withdrawn, much more sad, much more damaged, and she's kind of the only person he has left. Yeah, he's still drunk, but that's his escape mechanism. So
I mean,
But it's like
he
it's
doesn't-
like Hitler commits genocide and then he saves a dog, and
This
it's like,
guy's
well, I'm
not-
sympathetic to Hitler now.
That's a little.
That's not
It's like-
Hitler. I
that's a
don't
little-
think
You
that's a
don't.
fair comparison.
You can't beat the shit out of your daughter and then he gets more reserved and now he's sympathetic. Like, not gonna pass.
I think he becomes more sympathetic as a character.
I feel
know.
like if he had
Nope. 100%. Absolutely not.
done something to atone, or even just like
disagree.
apologized on screen, that would have done
He does
something.
apologize.
To...
That's his whole last scene in the movie.
Okay,
It's
well,
an
whatever.
apology.
Well, I watched the movie once at Starbucks, but either way,
It's not. Yeah. He's
you know,
not authentic. I'll put it that
show,
way. He was
don't
not
tell.
authentic in his apology.
like show us that he's atoning rather than just him saying like, "I'm sorry." Like, I don't know that he is going to change as a result of this apology that's coming just at the end.
I guess another point of thought that I have here is Joe Hill did grow up with an alcoholic father and does know what that looks like. So I think this is probably a pretty realistic portrayal. And I think that that moment of atonement in the ambulance is like a penultimate life-turning event for a lot of people. You know? And I
it
think
could
that
be.
maybe that's what... And I haven't read the short story. So maybe it's more there in the story. Maybe I'm just seeing it more than the movie necessarily portrays to get the point across. But I saw that as a really big shifting point for the entire family. But clearly,
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't everybody.
if he enrolled himself in Alcoholics Anonymous, that might make a little more sense.
well, you can't do everything. Call in.
You got to do everything.
You can't do that.
Like, if it was something, that would have been
But enough about him.
Yeah, enough about
What about
him.
the grabber?
the grabber.
How do we feel about the grabber?
I mean,
Yeah, the grabber's the big bad.
yeah. I mean, as far as big bads go, he was kind of like there wasn't a lot to him. I think it was helped a lot by Ethan Hawke's performance as the grabber.
Absolutely. Totally lying, by the way, about what I said about the mask. If I would have gotten the higher role, which I f***ing thought I did, the
Yeah,
mask
You'd think.
actually, to me, adds so much to the performance.
yeah,
Awesome. Because it would be so easy to use that mask as a way out.
Yeah.
Like I was pretending to think that Ethan Hawke did.
oh
But
yeah.
totally don't think that. I think it's way harder to act with the mask on
Yeah.
than it is with the mask off.
It's the Spider-Man problem.
Right. So hard to be a good Spider-Man. So hard to be a
I was
good
thrown by the
anything.
dog. I was like, wait, there's been a dog here the whole time?
That was a dog.
That
the
was a
whole time.
massive plot hole. Massive plot hole. Nowhere else. When the cops come, the dog isn't at the door barking at them. Like,
That's right, yeah.
dog isn't ever seen or heard.
Previously in the movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they heard the dog when they showed up and talked to the cokehead brother.
Oh, maybe they did.
Yeah,
Were
like they heard the barking, but he was just in the other room. And
Right.
then,
You're right. He was. You're right. He was there.
see, I was distracted when the dog actually showed up because I was like, "Oh, that's just a cute."
I know, yeah. All the dogs in most movies are like, oh, they're so nice.
Like,
It's like he's threatening, but really.
they cut away
know he's trained.
from the dog whenever they're doing the angry sounds because he's just a cute little pit bull.
They're definitely, I mean, probably the best execution of like a really scary dog that I've seen in recent years is Game of Thrones, like Gordon Ramsay, Ramsay's hounds.
Yeah.
Are, like super terrifying.
Yeah.
Right. But like, yeah, that dog didn't actually strike me as particularly scary either.
Yeah, I just thought that it was very jarring that this.
I think it was
Dog
basically
was
just.
You
there.
don't need the dog. You didn't need the
Yeah.
dog.
I think it was
already scary
basically just a reason for
for the freezer thing.
for the freezer for there to just be all this steak and like, yeah, here's a steak, you dog, who by all
Here,
accounts
here.
seems fine with me being here.
Yeah, yeah. That was a couple of the weaker points in there where like
He puts the carpet up to the window and then puts the rope through it, which is pretty smart. But he could have just climbed the carpet.
Right,
He could have just climbed the carpet right up there. It's a big carpet. Climb that up to the
That
window.
reminds me of certain things. Like, okay, so when Finn gets out, like, into the world and starts running away, he doesn't, like, run anywhere that a car can't go, which is 100%
He runs up the sidewalk.
the way I would do it. Like if I'm getting out and I'm running from somebody who has a car, I'm gonna go places that car can't go, that I can go on these legs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he takes apart a toilet, and it's like, man.
Boy,
I was talking with my wife about it. I was like, wait a minute, there's a whole toilet there. Like, why is he filling a phone with dirt when he can pick up a porcelain toilet and, like, throw it at him or break it and get a sharp piece of porcelain to cut the guy with?
Also, he's got this massive hole in the ground.
I do like the use of a thing that the guy is very used to being much heavier and more dangerous than the guy expects. Because if you get hit with a normal phone, not really gonna
We just thought it was both super unrealistic. That packing a phone with dirt would do much compared to the phone normally, compared to a compared to a standard porcelain toilet.
Well, they would do a relatively equal amount of damage, but the difference is that a phone packed with dirt isn't expected by the guy.
Yeah, but then he ends up in the hole anyway, so it's like, why not grab the toilet lid and smash the hell out of his head with it?
Sure, that would work too.
Speaking of the hole, why not, like, hide in the hole, make him think you escaped somehow, wait until he leaves, and then leave?
Not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Right.
That was where I thought it was going.
I thought of that too. I was like,
hole.
Once he got upstairs, I was like, oh, he should just hide somewhere upstairs, and then when the guy goes down, lock him in there. Mm-hmm. Done.
Good idea.
Or,
All these
wait by the door, comes in with breakfast, kick him in the balls until he throws up, and then run away.
I think that's unlikely.
Okay.
Bad idea. But
You just need
3
one
times his
clean
weight.
nut shot the first time, and that gives you the opportunity for a lot more. And if you get a lot more, and he's throwing up on the ground, he's not going to follow you very easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, I probably would have been killed pretty early on had I been grabbed for kicking him in the balls so many times. But I mean,
maybe he's a eunuch. We don't know.
that
could be.
that would be where the
Who
plan
knows?
falls.
Maybe he's just wearing
Maybe
a
any of,
protector from baseball.
maybe that
Could be.
tough kid tried
prepared.
that, and that's why he got killed.
There was a moment where he says something to his brother upstairs, and I was like, oh shit, what if that was like a recording and he is his brother? And then basically him and the brother are always separate. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple moments as I was watching the movie where I was like, oh man, it would be the coolest psychological move, plot twist, that he is the brother. They're both the same person.
Yeah. I do have to
Fight
say,
Club style,
if it were me,
you know?
the thing I would take out wholesale from the movie is the brother.
Yeah.
Right, what does it do in the
doesn't.
story?
Does nothing. And as soon as he becomes relevant, he gets murdered. And that's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
That didn't make any
why?
sense to me whatsoever, the brother at all. Like, he literally basically just plays like 2 tropes. Right? He plays like the guy who has it almost all figured out. But the cops
Yeah,
don't listen to
see,
him.
I thought that was being put on. Like, for a while, I thought they were the same character. The
Right,
grabber was
when
the
it went
brother,
down below
and
the
when
floor,
when the
and I was
cop,
like, hey, he's the grabber,
Like, he-
but when the
grabber
cops
Ethan
show up to
Hawke.
the door, the best cover you could have is that you're cracking this case wide open, and
Right.
you're a citizen
Yeah.
arrester.
Yeah.
I
Of
mean-
course they would hate you and just walk away.
They just
It's
aren't
the
gonna
best
Because, yeah,
murder
Best
cover ever.
And
that's
he
another trope,
otherwise isn't really a total
Sells it. I was
fit for the
more
movie.
than in my horror movies.
Because he's just the funny
He was
thing
supposed to be like
in
the comic
movie.
relief, I feel like, but
Yeah.
it's like he wasn't really that funny, and he wasn't in the movie enough. He was in the movie like a couple times,
Yeah.
and both times were kind of pointless. Mm-hmm. It was like, I didn't get him. I would have took him out whole sale. Spent
Yeah.
more time on the father so that we could like answer some of these questions about the
So there wouldn't be this overarching question like, is he redeemed or is he a dickhead? I don't know.
Yeah. More time on anything else, really. Every scene that was spent with the brother was like kind of a waste of time from the narrative. In my opinion. All right.
How many beers?
We've been talking a while. How many beers do you need to enjoy Black Phone, Colin?
9.
Okay.
Oh. All right, that's just the whole
reason for
answer.
that, or
Okay.
That's just period.
The number's the number.
The number's the number this time. All right.
All right, the number's just a number. I would say
Although maybe getting high would be really terrifying.
It is.
okay.
Was it scary? Yes.
There were moments that were genuinely pretty scary. Like when he goes upstairs and the guy's asleep.
Oh, yeah. That's like saying
Yeah.
extended freaky.
Yeah, that was tense.
A horror scene that is like not gory, it's just like
It's just like
disturbing.
Did like that.
Tension.
And there was some gore in this movie, though. I mean, the most brutal part of this whole movie, can we talk about when the sister hits that kid with a rock?
yeah,
and
it's
his
just
head
like
is
pouring
gushing
out.
blood.
Just out of nowhere.
And I'm like, that is way too realistic.
Then she gets her teeth
Super
kicked
uncomfortable.
in, and then they're both just sitting on the sidelines like,
I actually thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's what a real kid fight looks like. Like, that was this movie had several instances
like-
where I was like, that's what that looks like in real life. And
Yeah.
There's nothing cool about it. It was like, it wasn't glorified. It
Yeah,
was
they were
just like,
just-
this is actually really uncomfortable to be in this situation.
Yeah.
This thing. And I was like, I actually really like that about
yeah, they're just sitting there like,
people.
you're out too,
Yeah.
huh? How's your head?
Yeah, I got
so
Disturbia vibes
That
from
kid's
it
just
because it's
Yeah.
like
So-
here's a horror that's happening in your neighborhood.
Totally.
You know?
That was the best part about it, was like those glimpses of realism.
Yeah. It's kind of a reminder that, you know, crazy horror can happen right in your backyard.
It does.
And it's a good example of that.
Totally. And
Yeah.
like, that's something you would do if your brother was being attacked and you know your like inferior forces. Pick up a rock. But like, you don't know what a rock really does.
yeah,
And like, humans are pretty
it's
squishy.
a rock.
And like, you see in movies all the time where someone gets hit with a rock and they just get like nice
Just like,
cleanly knocked out. And it's like, that's not how
Right.
it works.
Yeah.
In real life, if you hit someone and
It's a rock.
that's not good. That is not good for that person. That person's in trouble. And it's, yeah. This movie did a good job of showing that. Same with the arguments with the dad and the daughter. Redemption arc notwithstanding, whether you agree with that or not. But I did think those arguments and those fights were very realistic and very well done. Uncomfortable, but well done.
Yeah, a lot of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Too real.
How many beers?
I would say 4, not evenly spaced throughout the movie.
How would you space them?
I'd go a little heavier at the beginning,
Yeah, it's a good policy.
and then like just ease into it when he finally gets kidnapped and things start going like, okay, pick up the phone. What's going on here?
Okay.
Don't pick up that phone.
It's like, oh, don't pick up that phone. That's scary.
I would say 2. Because if you drink 9, you're going to totally miss the father redemption arc. Like,
Oh, shucks. Yeah, don't miss that BS.
Yep. That's the reason I didn't see it too, because I was in Starbucks drinking 9 beers.
And you said keep them coming.
Just keep them coming. And they're just like, you have to stop. Where are you getting this? Leave. Please. I'm like, I got a podcast.
I want everybody viewing this right now to remember where everybody told me that there was a completely good written-in reason that Jace character in Arcane started fighting people with a hammer. And let's just pretend it's
Wow.
just like this. Because to
Are
me,
you
it's just like
Still going
Yes, I
on
am.
about that. Wow.
salty about it. Jace is not,
It
has no
continues.
business fighting with a hammer.
It continues.
I stand by that.
He's the only person who has business fighting with the hammer.
No, he's not. There's no
Made the
business
hammer.
fighting with anything. He's not a fighter. He has no training.
So 2 whole beers, you saying?
2 beers.
Oh, okay. It's pretty good.
That's how many I drank. Enjoyed it. I recommend it. All right. This has been another episode of Fermented Fiction.
That's
Boy,
it.
has it.
Thank you, Special Brews. Thank you, Cascade Riders. Thank you, Jeremy, Colin. And,
Now we're gonna go bail out Travis
yeah.
Yeah.
from his dolphin days.
Because there's a lot of dolphins out there. I don't know how many he took on at once, but dolphins are strong.
Yeah.
I hope he's all right.
PETA's all over his.
Yeah. I hope he watched Black Phone. I hope he learned about the step in, step
Yeah.
back, and swing thing.
That's how you do it.
If he didn't learn that, he's
Yeah. Maybe literally. You know dolphins.
yeah. Nice button up, bud. Nice button
Thank you.
All
Made
right.
it full circle. This is
Thank
quality
you.
content.
We've come all the way full circle here.
Like and
Thank you for
subscribe and
watching Fermented Fiction. Like, subscribe, comment. If you want us to talk about a certain thing, put it in the comments. If you want us to drink a certain thing, put it in the comments. It has to be beer. All right. Goodbye.
bye.